With heroics from Randy and Polo and a hell of a start from Logan, the Mariners are 1-0. Let's talk about it. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Friday, March 28th, 2025. This is Tony Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. And as always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. So it is our first game recap of the season, folks, and holy moly, we got a lot to talk about from that game. Mariners start the year 1-0 with a 4-2 win over the A's last night. We'll obviously talk about everything that happened from the seventh inning onward, but we got to start by talking about Logan Gilbert. His start was kind of overshadowed by what happened from the seventh inning onward with Randy and Polo and all that. And again, we'll certainly talk about that. But I want to start with Logan because he was sensational last night. 7 innings pitched. That ties Framber Valdez for the longest start of any opening day starter this year, which is, of course, par for the course for the guy that led the majors in innings pitched last year. 8 strikeouts, just 1 earned run on 2 hits. It was a mistake on a slider that he hung to Tyler Soderstrom, who sent it to deep center field.
Impressive.
He also, very impressive. And then Jorge Polanco went on to kind of do the same thing a little later on. But again, we'll talk about that later. Jacob Wilson had the other hit off of Logan, just a single. Quite a few hard hit balls off of Logan, but again, no real damage done aside from the Soderstrom solo home run. 8 strikeouts, no walks on 83 pitches. He was great. And he was amped right out of the gate, you could tell, but it was like good type of amped, right? His velo was high and he was just dotting up the corners. He was sick, and you could tell right from the jump that we were in for a pretty special night from Logan. So what did you think about his start, Colby?
Yeah, the big story of last night was the splitter. He threw 21 of them. He got 14 swings on the splitter, 9 whiffs, 64% whiff rate on that split finger. That is, as good as it gets for that number. Overall, he had 29 whiffs and called strikes. That's a 35% called strike plus whiff rate, which is very good as well. And it was kind of what Logan Gilbert has become. It's kind of the evolution of Logan Gilbert. He used to be just fastball. Last night, as much as he was last year, it was the kitchen sink. It was 34% slider, 29% fastball, 25% splitter, 12% curveball. Didn't see any cutters yesterday. Logan kept the pitch mix very simple, just four pitches, roughly evenly distributed. Curveball, a couple good curveballs. He had a 50% whiff rate on that pitch as well. He only got 4 strikes on it out of 10 attempts, but it was a pretty good complimentary piece there. And yeah, he hung the one slider. The slider wasn't its best, but it was fastball and it was splitter. And he just, did that and he pounded the A's into submission.
Especially Brent Rooker.
Poor Brent Rooker.
Oh my God.
We really like Brent Rooker. I think I can say that with eye.
Yeah.
Not the 13 times he plays the Mariners, but the other 149 games love Brent Rooker.
Yeah. I mentioned it on the show last night. Heading into the game, Rooker was 1 for 13 with 7 strikeouts against Logan. That 1 for 16 with 10 strikeouts now.
Yeah. Things didn't get any easier in his last at bat either. So
Andres Munoz tagged in and gave him another. So
it was
rough night.
Not the opening day that Rooker would have wanted, but apparently the opening day he predicted.
Saw that.
Yeah. Brent knows what's up. He's very vocal and not afraid to tell you, like, that guy's just way too good.
Yeah, good friend of ours, Will Stone, said that Rooker was speaking at I think Will's father's church or something. I'm trying to find the tweet. I can't find it, but he said he was asked if any pitcher had his number, and he said Gilbert, and that he hoped to never see him again. But we open with the M's this year, so that's an automatic 0 for 4.
Nailed it.
On the
I don't
money.
know if I don't know if he would have thought 3 strikeouts, but Logan just honestly toyed with him all night. And so Logan it was casual domination from Logan Gilbert. If we were in May, if we were in June, he probably would have gone back out there for the 8th. He only threw 83 pitches. And, kind of a big factor here is that he was working ahead all night. I think he had 2 3-ball counts the entire game. And I believe the final tally was 22 of 25 first pitch strikes. So he was just cruising last night again. Just the one mistake. A little bit of a scary moment there when he got drilled with the line drive in the 3rd inning, Lawrence Butler. Thankfully, it looks like it got him,
on the slim dumper.
I was going to say where a gluteus maximus is supposed to be, but it's might just be a tailbone thing for Logan. He is a slender guy.
If you're going to get hit by 111 anywhere on your body, that's the place to get it. So
but Logan has, let's say, less padding than others in that particular area. So there was some concern. Bizzardo was up throwing. We didn't see Logan come back in the dugout until right at the end of the inning. So came back out after that and just made the one mistake and then just cruised. So very big night for Logan Gilbert, just in terms of obviously making his first opening day start of his career, but he also shoved and showed that he earned that opening day start. He deserved it. And that he is, as if we didn't already know this, he is the true ace of this pitching staff. That torch has been officially handed over.
Yeah. So really good start to a season that I think many expect to be a Cy Young caliber year for Logan Gilbert. So that was a lot of fun to watch. One of the best opening day starts in Mariners history. So we will talk about what happened from the 7th inning onward in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you once again by Gametime. There's nothing like the energy of an MLS match, the chants, the atmosphere, the last-minute goals. If you want to experience it all live, Gametime makes getting tickets easier than ever. With last-minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying MLS tickets. Plus, ticket prices actually drop as kickoff gets closer, so you can score amazing seats at a great price. I love that I can see the exact view from my seat before I buy, so there's no surprises when I get to the stadium. Gametime also has event cancellation protection and even job loss assurance, so I can buy with confidence. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. So before we get into what Randy and Polo did last night, quick reminder, as we've done over the last few episodes, that, hey, we got a giveaway going on right now, and we are 25 subscribers away from our next goal, which will add another $25 Simply Seattle gift card to the grand prize. We are at 12,925 subscribers at the time of this recording. So we only have 2 prizes to go, Colby. So like I mentioned, we got the gift card. What else do we have coming down the pipe?
Yeah, if we get to 13,000 subs by next Thursday, we will add, along with all the other prizes, we will add this final prize, which is the Lazaro Montes autograph card, big time Mariners prospect. You
got confirmed today that he's going to Everett. So you guys,
only confirmation of a minor league assignment we have.
Weird. But yeah. So if you guys are near Everett, you guys will have an opportunity to go see Laz. Might not be long that you'll be able to see him down there.
I'd get there early if I were you. But yeah, so again, right now we're about 25 away from adding our final gift card, which would have the prize pack include $125 in Simply Seattle gift certificates. We've already added a Felnin Celestin autograph card, a Eugenio Suarez autograph card. Ooh, Gino, Victor Robles.
He homered last night, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that.
Victor Robles, dude can't get a bunt down. JP Crawford
had an RBI sack fly though, and yet he's a negative 0.1 player after last night.
Honestly, it should be worse. But anyways, so these 4 autograph cards and $125. $100 in Simply Seattle gift certificates already in the prize pack. Mm-hmm. Next up, another 25 subscribers, you'll get another gift card. Then we need about 75 more, and that will max out the prize package with this lovely Lazaro Montes autograph. All you have to do to enter, very simple. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on any of the videos between last Thursday and next Thursday. Any video we post is eligible. Leave a comment. You can leave a comment per video, and you'd have about, 10, 12 entries there. Only one winner this time, one grand prize winner. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment on as many videos as possible to increase your odds of winning. And we greatly appreciate it. So terms and conditions in the description down below. I almost did the terms and description again.
Terms and descriptions and the conditions. Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys have been killing it. You've been kicking butt with this giveaway, so we really appreciate it. So we're getting close to our ultimate goal, and to having the grand prize pretty much complete, right? So all right. When Randy hit that home run, what was your reaction?
I'm going to win the flagless thing, because Ty wasn't true to himself. Ty decided to try and galaxy brain himself, and it hurt. It stings. My first thought was like, this will bring Ty so much joy.
I stand by my justification.
Whatever. My first thought was literally like, oh, this will make Ty so happy, so I need to make him sad by pointing out that he didn't take him.
It did make me very happy.
Of course it did.
I was, first of all, trying not to get, the sickos next door to pound on my wall. But I was also not trying to wake up my sleeping wife. So I was very silently kind of jumping around this room. So, yeah. That was a lot
around where you're just kind of shifting your weight from one foot to the other.
Yeah, kind of like kind of running in place almost. Yeah.
There. So it was awesome. Obviously, you just had the disaster of the previous 2 innings where, one of them, Dan Wilson's
the Mariners got runners on base but couldn't drive them in. No, crazy.
And then they decided to waste some of their valuable outs by trying to advance runners, and they couldn't even do that.
What? No way.
I know. Small ball blew up on them.
This was the most Mariner game ever, right? It was just quintessential Mariners.
Yeah, that's what makes it so fun. It's like,
I mean, you asked for chaos last night on the live stream.
This is the stupidest thing we've ever seen. They won. So cool. Fun.
Yeah.
It's very Mariners. So after that, and then the weird decision of going to Thornton, who is, I'd say at best, your 4th or 5th best reliever.
He had everyone available, and that was the guy you went to in a tie game. All right.
With a lefty leading off the inning, you didn't want to go with Saucedo. You didn't want to go with Spire.
Well, clearly, you had to save Spire for Lawrence Butler and JJ Bleday, who Andres Munoz wound up facing.
Yeah. Did Spire end up facing those guys? I'm just going to say it. Dan had a bad night.
He had a bad night.
Let's not beat around the bush here. He's off the hook for the stupidest thing that happened.
Yeah.
But
now let's clear something up. That doesn't mean fire Dan or that this is indicative of Dan's ability to manage in the future. It's just Dan had a bad night last night. Let's just acknowledge that. It was fine. They still won.
I mean,
I know you were ready to get on here and call for his job last night if they lost. And if that bunt was his decision.
If Polanco didn't take now. Maybe Polo's just doing his manager a favor there, but
Colby, as you can imagine, was very upset texting me.
Like that is the stupidest part of the game to bunt in ever. The Polo one in particular. The Robles one, I knew it was going to happen.
If I showed you the text, we would easily get demonetized and probably fired by the Locked On Podcast Network. So we'll just leave it at that.
Like the weird thing about stupidity is that after Robles tried to steal home against the Yankees, and then the next night Julio did his thing on third base. Yeah. It's raised the bar to what is stupid, but that bunt came really close to matching that. That was just the most moronic thing ever. And I guess because Polo did it, I mean, Polo redeemed himself. That's why he's off the hook. But yeah, anyways, the Randy home run, what an absolute nuke. That was, oh my gosh. It just kind of, you had this roller coaster thing all night. Mariners get guys on, couldn't get them in. You know, they had blown a couple of opportunities to kind of blow the game wide open, playing for one run, which is stupid, and all that stuff. They make the questionable bullpen decision, and you're just like, they're really going to blow this game. And then Randy just, nah, I got this.
Well, and this was like the window. If you're going to win this game, you have to do something here in the eighth, because Mason Miller's coming up in the ninth. Like, you have to do this. And when I saw Jose Leclerc, I remembered what Julio did to him a couple of years ago down in Texas. I was like, huh.
Got a shot.
Maybe.
But yeah, Randy absolutely nuked it. And I think the celebration was awesome. The bat spike and all. Yeah. Game one, this is game one of 162. Yeah. It's a marathon. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. You have to pick your spots. And it's almost like Randy knew that, like, the boys and the fans, they needed like some energy to be cranked through there, and he hit the home run and he let it out. And I think it's important to have players who can set the tone like that when things aren't going well, and you're just kind of like, oh man, we're just kind of stagnated here, and ballpark's kind of quiet because it's been a rough night for you offensively and all that. And we've seen this movie so many times before. Yeah. Randy comes up, gets the big hit, gets the boys going, gets the stadium going. And it's 2 batters later, the Mariners have a lead that they will not relinquish. So, I think Randy, this is the type of impact that we talk. Obviously, the home run is the more important thing here, but Randy's kind of like silent fury that he has in these big moments, I think is a element that this clubhouse has missed. And it's nice to see Randy, celebrate with the team and all that, because we know how hard it was for him last year when he transitioned over here to Seattle. So it does seem like he's more comfortable, and that's exactly why you go out and you give a couple really good prospects to go get this guy, because he does bring that energy. He does bring that power. He does bring that swag, and he is the type of guy who can change the entire game in one instant. And he did last night.
Yeah. Boy, did he. My God. By the way, if you haven't seen the side angle that 710 CL Sports posted, go check it out over on Twitter.
Yeah. Ty's number 1 flag guy coming up big. Oh wait,
I still stand by my justification for that.
I literally tried to talk you into it yesterday.
Now let's talk about the guy. Let's talk about another guy that could have easily been on either of our flag lists, but we both left him off. Jorge Polanco. Now, you guys have heard us talk about Polo since they signed him, 2 months ago? All of our concerns that we voiced. Clearly, neither of us, I don't think anyone in the Mariners fan base could have expected the night that Jorge Polanco had on opening day. So he starts the game 2 for 2 with a couple of singles off of Severino, which that alone was already like, that just blew my expectations out of the water. I was like, cool, great. Nice. And then you got the sack bunt thing that happens, and it's like, what's it? Back. Okay, yeah. And then, so in this moment, running on first, it was Rayleigh, right? Rayleigh's on first.
Rayleigh walked.
Yeah. Leclerc is pretty phased after the homer to Randy. Polo works a full count, but I'm thinking, all right, they got TJ McFarland, a lefty, warming up in the bullpen. Rowdy Tellez, the lefty, is on deck. Oh my God. They're going to pinch hit Odyar Garver or Donnie Barrels to win this game. And I'm texting Colby. I'm literally like, is it time? And as soon as I send that text, Polo hits 95 down the heart of the plate to dead center field on a cold March night in Seattle over the wall to essentially win the ball game.
Yep.
So my reaction to the Randy home run was excitement, just losing my mind as much as I possibly could while also trying to stay quiet. This one was just blank stare at the screen, unable to register what I had just watched.
Yeah. Polo owed us and he returned he paid the debt and then some with interest. So that's why we're not getting on him today, because it's kind of the guy hits the game-winning home run. You don't really care about the stupid bunt he did earlier. So it was pretty interesting. It was set up by a really good at bat by Luke Raley. 7-pitch at bat, drew the walk, and then Polo did what he did. It was that, and it was one of those at bats where it's like, okay, we're tied right now, which is good, but we know that Miller is just in that bullpen, just kind of lurking over you. Like, we have to get this done still now, because if not, we're going into extras more than likely, and anything can happen in extra innings. So you're sitting there, and Leclerc's probably on his last hitter. They have McFarland warming up for Tellez, and so you're like, if we don't get Leclerc here, we're probably not going to get him. And they got him. They jumped on him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him. Sorry, 95 right down the middle of the plate, which is, he had missed a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to pitch before. That was a little bit lower. It was about thigh high. This one was actually slightly above the belt, and he just absolutely crushed it. I mean, that is an impressive home run. Really, anytime in Seattle, a home run to dead center field is pretty much always impressive. But again, on a chilly night in March, early in the season, raining outside and all that stuff, just there's some wind, although it doesn't seem like wind was a big factor. It was blowing in the back of the ballpark, so you couldn't feel it or blah blah blah, whatever. It was an impressive home run either way. And it's not often you see that happen. No,
in March, in April in Seattle.
Typically, you see a ball like that off the bat, and it gets to the warning track and dies. It just kind of
the fact that we saw 2 dead center shots last night was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and Polo's wasn't cheap by any stretch. 104 miles an hour, would have been a homer in 22 ballparks, including the one that mattered last night. So it is also, though, pretty funny to see the difference here. The Mariners are trying to play small ball and epically failing on their way to produce 1 run, and then in the 8th inning, it's like, screw this, we're just going to hit dingers, and they put up a 3 spot in the 8th, and it's over at that point. So it was very impressive inning. Cal strikes out to start it, and you're just kind of like, oh man, this is I can't believe they're going to blow this game. This is the stupidest way they could lose a game, minus the Julio clause there. And then Randy says, nope, not happening. And then Jorge follows it up. So Jorge off to a fabulous start, which is,
he is slashing 1,000, 2,000 right now.
I'm going to guess he's going to regress a little bit.
I believe that he can keep that up.
He's on pace to be like a 54-win player right now. So I'm going to say probably not. Basically, he would be a Hall of Famer just off of this one season. I'm going to say that's probably not going to happen.
With 1 game, he matched his 2024 total in F4.
Yeah, it is impressive. It's impressive. Polo's great. That was, again, awesome after the bunt and all that.
His defense was a little shaky.
I was going to say.
Defense wasn't it was adventurous. Like, he made the plays, but he lobbed that ball over to Tellez on that grounder. He also looked a little uncomfortable catching that pop out.
Last second adjustment.
But it's fine.
Boy.
It's fine. We survived.
Yeah. Like I said, just make the plays.
And I think that's kind of what the Mariners are hoping for, right? Like, you saw, I mean, not a 3-for-3 night every single night, but you kind of saw, just kind of come to fruition, like what the idea is there with Polo is like, look, we know the defense is going to be rough, but we think he's going to hit enough to justify going from Rojas to him.
Yeah, just make the routine plays.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of defense, though, I thought it was actually a pretty good defensive night for the Mariners last night. Julio made the sliding grab. JP had the really nice double play to end the game, and Ryan Bliss had a great game defensively at second base. The ball found him a lot, and he made every single play, including a couple of really, really nice plays. He had a weird night, obviously because of the slide and the review and all that. He grounded into a double play earlier on in the game, but again, made some great defensive plays and also made something happen on the base pass after that 4-pitch walk. That's kind of what you're hoping for, right? That's kind of what we talked about, or what we have talked about over the last few weeks with Ryan Bliss, and what I was talking about the other day on our flag list when I picked him, that like, even if he doesn't hit a ton, if he can just do that, what he did last night, 2-win player. That's an everyday player. So yeah, let's talk about what's on tap here tonight and over the course of the weekend in just a moment. But first, a reminder: this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by PrizePicks. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with PrizePicks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With PrizePicks, you pick more or less on at least 2-player projections, and if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Whether it's strikeouts, RBI, or first inning runs, PrizePicks keeps every game exciting. Building my lineup is easy, and this week I'm picking Aaron Judge for more than 1 home run and Shohei Ohtani for more than 1 stolen base. It's that simple. Setting up a lineup takes less than 60 seconds, and when you win, your payout is quick, safe, and secure. I always take advantage of Taco Tuesday, where PrizePicks offers discounts on select player projections for even more value. Download the app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. So tonight at 6:40 p.m. Pacific, the A's better get ready to learn Adair Garver and Donnie Barrels, baby. Because I assume, at the very least, they're going to be starting against the lefty Jeffrey Springs.
I don't know. Dan Wilson thought it was a better idea to have Rowdy Tellez hit against the lefty last night, when literally Donovan Solano is here for one reason, that is to hit left-handed pitching. That is the purpose.
Mitch Garver too.
I mean, that's part of what you're kind of banking on from Gar. At the very least,
it probably would have been Solano because Tellez was playing first last night. But yeah,
which also, again, that's why it's stupid for Tellez to play first. Because
like I get that Tellez is basically the same guy against lefties as he is righties, but still, I don't get the Tellez thing personally. I really don't. I don't understand it.
Also, thought it was pretty stupid of him for the DH, because like, hey, you know what? In a 4-2 game, you know what you probably don't want? You probably don't want Jorge Polanco playing third in the 9th inning. You probably would rather have Rayleigh out in left field than Randy Arozarena in the 9th inning. And you couldn't do that.
They clearly don't trust Luke at first base.
Which is nuts, because you know who's really bad at first base? Rowdy Tellez. He's awful. Look at the numbers.
They think that he's at least better than Luke Rayleigh, which I'm
sitting there like, that
scares me.
Like, why isn't Dylan Moore in the game at third base at this point? Why isn't Luke Rayleigh out there in left field? Why isn't Donovan Solano playing first base? Get the best. And I don't know. I want us to have a more consistent lineup. Like, ugh.
So let's talk a little bit about this matchup. So Springs, on top of spending a ton of money on Severino, the biggest contract in A's history on Severino, the A's went out and they made a really aggressive trade for Jeffrey Springs with the Rays. They gave up Joe Boyle, a couple prospects, a competitive balance around A selection for him. Yeah. So they gave up some pretty nice stuff for Springs, who underwent Tommy John back in 2023. He returned back on July 30th last year. We actually saw him pitch against the Mariners, and he was really good against the Mariners. 5 innings of scoreless ball. He struck out 9 Mariners hitters, including Julio twice, and he only allowed just 1 hit in that start.
Yeah. So, the thing with Springs is that he's always good when he's healthy.
Yeah.
Pretty good pitcher, pretty effective when he's healthy, and he does it in a bit of a unique way. Whereas last night Severino really did it with the fastball, primarily the 2-seamer and the 4-seamer. He is going to do it. Springs is going to do it with 89, 90 mile an hour fastball and a really good changeup and a really good breaking ball. So it's going to look different for the Mariners tonight. It's a different looking. Not only is it a lefty when you faced a righty yesterday, it's kind of a soft tossing finesse lefty versus the power righty you faced yesterday. So Springs is again, when he's healthy, look at the numbers he produces. But he's missed a lot of time. So we'll see how he does tomorrow. But yeah, tonight. It's gonna be a bit of a different look for the Mariners, not the complete opposite of what they saw last night. I hope the lineup looks different as a result.
Yeah.
I assume Dylan Moore will be in there tonight as well at
Mhm.
second base. I assume Garver will be the DH. I'd like to assume Solano will play first, but who knows? So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Springs it's going to look different. It's going to be frustrating because you're going to be wondering why, this guy's throwing a 91-mile-an-hour fastball by dudes, and it's because the changeup is really, really good.
Yeah, the changeup is pretty incredible. Now, last year after you got back from from surgery, his velo was down pretty much on every single pitch. The spin rate was a bit down on every single pitch. So we'll see where he's at. But obviously that didn't bother him the last time he faced what is essentially the same Mariners lineup.
Yep.
Back in August. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to see Luis tonight. A bunch of lefties in this lineup. We saw Luis kind of go to the slider against lefties in his last couple starts with really good results. Does he continue to do that? Does he, is it the fastball heavy approach? Velocity, I don't really care about. I would like to see Luis commit to that slider tonight pretty early and often. And again, you're going to start the game with Lawrence Butler, and then after Rooker, it's going to be Blade. So lots of lefties in the lineup tonight. And how Luis handles lefties is going to tell the story of his season. So good test tonight for him, but I'm excited to watch him pitch. See how he attacks these guys.
So tomorrow we got Bryce Miller versus Osvaldo Bido. Bito's a really interesting dude. He finished in the 100th percentile in hard hit rate last year, 99th percentile in average exit velocity, 93rd percentile in barrel rate. He was also 98th percentile in expected batting average and 94th percentile in expected ERA. So he had a really good year last year. And the A's are very high on him. We did see him last year. The Mariners actually jumped on him pretty early. Cal Raleigh had a 2-run home run in the first inning of that game. The Mariners ended up losing that game 5-4. So that's going to be a very difficult matchup for the Mariners, especially, again, with how much he limits hard contact. That's the way that the Mariners won last night, right? Was hitting the ball hard and hitting the ball over the wall. And obviously, with just the general difficulty that comes with hitting at T-Mobile Park, particularly in March, like we just talked about. That's a bad combination for this Mariners lineup. So it'll be interesting to see how they maneuver that. But Bryce, fascinated to watch him. Like we talked about yesterday when we did our predictions, we're very high on Bryce for obvious reasons. And he was obviously spectacular at T-Mobile Park last year. This is kind of a righty heavy A's lineup. They do have 5 lefties on their roster. We'll probably see Seth Brown.
Probably tonight.
Yeah. So we'll see how they kind of construct their lineup, but I feel like this is a good matchup for Bryce.
Yeah, certainly could be. Anytime Bryce is taking them out at T-Mobile Park, you feel pretty good about your odds, but I suspect this will be a low scoring game on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the final game on Sunday, this is by far the best matchup on paper for the Mariners. It's Brian Wu versus JP Sears. Now, JP Sears has actually been really good against the Mariners in his career. And, of course, former Mariners prospect. I believe he is running a career 2.66 ERA. That's a 4.03 FIP against the Mariners in 9 starts. The Mariners are hitting just 191 against him in 50 2/3 innings. But generally speaking, JP Sears, pretty mediocre pitcher. So you should, in theory, be able to get to him.
They jumped on him in September of last year. They faced him twice in September. And in one outing, he went 6 innings and only gave up 2 runs. But in the first one, he went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs. The Mariners did tag him for a couple homers in that last start as well. Sears is the worst pitcher they're going to face, but he does have a very good track record against the Mariners, and he's also got kind of the low arm angle that typically plays well at T-Mobile Park. So that'll be an interesting one. I assume that'll be the first day we see, Garver catching. So that'll probably be a Cal day off as well. So it'll be an interesting series there. But obviously, Wu versus Sears, that's probably the matchup you feel the best about. And it'd be great if the Mariners could just win tonight and secure that split and go into the weekend playing with a little bit of house money. Again, anytime the Mariners are playing at T-Mobile Park, you like their odds, regardless of who the other team is. But these are some really interesting pitching matchups we're going to see over the next couple of days, and that's what you want. That's why we watch baseball. So it'll be a fun 3-day weekend now. Well, 3-day weekend series after opening day. So, yep, really looking forward to Luis tonight. I'm going to be fascinated to track his pitch usage.
For sure.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right, so we are off for the weekend. When we get back, here's kind of the plan. Monday, we'll answer your questions on the mailbag. Tuesday, we'll recap Monday night's game and get you set for Tuesday night's game and Wednesday's game, because Wednesday is our first Locked On Mariners post-game show of the season. Hopefully we'll have a win to talk about in that one as the Mariners wrap up their homestand with their final game against the Tigers. And then Thursday, we'll have an off day to just kind of chat. We'll talk about the homestand and get you ready for the Giants series. So yeah. All right. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.